All right, we're live. The Apres Nascar show. For those of you that don't know what the show is, I don't know. I figure the post-race coverage isn't always that great. And I usually have a lot of thoughts right after the race. And instead of Jacob, yeehaw, I think Jacob had some Denny. That's what I think. I actually thought, I guess I'll wait for a few people to get in here. Hamlin owns Larson, Ian says. Brian says Denny. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he owns him. Oh, I got the tuxedo. Yeah, thank you for noticing. I like this to be a very official show. And I got the green on behind me. I did make a little money in the race, so red will be you'll know I'm pissed off because it'll be red and I got the green on. So that's a little bit of cheese that we made. So well, what do we think of the racing? What everyone think? I actually thought 14-1 live was a gift. I agree. What do we think of the race? I thought it was pretty good racing. I thought it was pretty good. Relative to what we've seen at like a place like Texas, I know at the end of the race there, Denny was just aero blocking. Not much you can do there. Hey, if you don't like it, you got to get there and pass him, or don't lose on the restart. Oh, who brought up restarts? Someone brought up everyone should just. Oh yeah, SC brought up. Why don't you just jump the restart? I mean, you have to win on these restarts. It's so hard to make passes in general that you got to do it. Take the chance, I guess. But let's just kind of get a rundown of everyone's day here. Denny Hamlin. Well, Denny was good. Called his shot. Can't believe it. Denny called his shot. I thought he was good all day. I thought you could look at the 5, at times the 19. Gosh, the 19 was incredible there. Gosh, late stage 1 when he was just, I mean, he blew by everybody late in the race or early or at that point in the race. I thought Truex was really fast, but I would say that Kyle Busch said he was a third place car in his interview. Not quite sure about that. But he hung on all day. He kind of did what I thought. We talked about in the pre-race poll. If Kyle Busch just kind of stays up there all day, he's just going to kind of stay up there all day. Was he a top 3 car? No, but he ended up finishing 4th. Racing was good. Fox broadcast still leaves a lot to be desired, covering battles on the track. Yeah. What happened to Marty? He hit something. I thought he was gonna smoke the field. I thought, yeah, Troy, I agree. This track does suck. Shitbox of the race. Yeah, Hemrick finished 10th. I looked at, I don't know, probably 25 laps into the race, and I'm always looking and see, the big movers of the race, and Hemrick was down like 10 spots. But what a great finish. Yeah. Yeah, Byron. Oof. That's the epitome of what you can't do. And that's what Byron's done so well. Byron has not made mistakes in the past. They make one mistake, and you can see how hard it gets for you back in traffic. And I'm telling you, Bubba brought it up. This squirrel thing, you end up back with the squirrels. You're going to get your nuts busted. Like, I think that's just a great term. And Byron found himself back in the squirrels. That's what happens. Chris Bell, bad qualifying, gets his nuts busted. That's just what happens. I think it's a great term. Great day for Hamlin. Calls a shot. Not sure how cocky he's going to be. Yeah, I agree. Engineer to give. Listen, Denny had a good car. Denny had a good car, but man, that team got it done. When he picked up 3 spots, took the lead up pit road. I still think Larson was probably a better car than him. But Larson, he started deep, had to drive through the field. I thought he was pretty good. He wasn't great. He was good. Truex, I thought, was the best car. Zane Smith, real rough rookie season. Brad K, the donkey all day. Chase Elliott. Boy, Chase moved real nice in stage 1. Chase moved real nice in stage 1, but never really, was mixing it up. Just kind of just a solid, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth place car, uh, but could make some passes. He proved that you could make some passes. Noah Gragson, I agree, man. Um, incredible stuff out of Noah Gragson. I mean, I saw someone bet him top four. Was that Cody Zeeb? 25-1 top four. That's a great bet. Well done there. Really good. Gotta say, I said at the beginning of the year, I thought Gragson was going to be the best SHR car all year. I kind of thought that. What happened to Bowman? Yeah, kind of a bummer finish out of him. Blaney, man, he was good early, and then they just didn't adjust. And as that track widened out, we called it. We talked about it in the pre-race show. Once this track widens out, that's when he loses his ability to move forward. He needs kind of a one-lane track. It's why you see him run well at a place like Martinsville, a place like Phoenix, where it's primarily one groove. I don't know. I thought Blaney was going to be better. He was kind of my pick to win. I thought he could have been better. Alex Bowman, I mean, a good day for him, but I thought he was more of a top 5 car all day and just had some issues late. There were some points of the race. The cool thing about this racetrack, and correct me if I'm wrong, can we all agree at certain points you thought someone else was going to win? Like, I thought that's what we mean by comers and goers. I thought at one point, Larson was going to win. Another point, I thought Hamlin. Another point, I thought Truex. I really never thought Kyle Busch was going to win. I did take some Chase Elliott live. I don't know if that means I think he was going to win, but I thought Ryan Blaney was going to be good. I thought Alex Bowman at one point, I thought he was going to win the race. Tyler Reddick at times looked like he was the best car. And that's what I mean. You need that to, hey, at least guys are running different lap times. They're running different lines. We saw it at the end. Now, yes, the aero blocking at the end sucked. But yeah, I thought it was a good race. I thought that too. I was texting with some buddies. Oh yeah, and to the people that chirp my picks, like I heard something the other day. If you got something bad to say about my picks, just text me. And if you have my number, or if you don't have my number, then you don't know my picks well enough to know what I actually have. So anyone that wants to chirp my picks, absolutely just text me. And if you don't have my number, you don't know my picks. That's the easiest way to put it. So you don't let anyone, harp on you for your picks or not. Like, you got to put that behind you. That stuff doesn't bother me. I'd love to debate live what he thinks my bad picks were. We went 1-1 in the best bet, but gosh, Kyle Busch actually looked good. So yeah, if you have my number, you can chirp my picks. So feel free. The phone lines are open, but ultimately, if you don't have my number, you don't know my bets. Yeah, I mean, I see people here that know my bets, and everyone's giving me a congratulations. So let's say Ty Gibbs, he was a battler today. I agree, Brian. He didn't really talk about him much. He was never up there running in racing with, I think, those top 10 cars. Like, he just kind of worked his way out. Like, pretty good. Tyler Reddick, man, this is a bad finish for as good as his car. I thought his car was good. I mean, there were times when I was like, oh my gosh, Reddick, especially he was the first to move up early in the race. I thought that meant he was going to be a player all week. Chastain. What in the hell? Ross Chastain was brutal today. Like, for a guy that we all thought was going to be strong. I know that he didn't look good in practice, but yuck. That was a shocking run by Ross Chastain. Easily the most surprised I've been at him all year. He's usually a pretty predictable guy. I was shocked at Ross Chastain. AJ Allmendinger, great run for this team. He's good here. Was Reddick's car good? Just like Byron, once he dropped, he struggled. Yeah. That's Connor. Maybe that's a good point. But there was I remember thinking at one point, I thought he was going to be good. Denny said whoever can adjust their car the best had a best chance at winning. And I think Ross hit the nail on the head there. He kept telling him not to adjust the car, and then everyone else got better, and he didn't get better. I think that's a great way of putting it. Everyone got better. Reddick just didn't get better. So his car was as good as it was early in the race. Other teams were able to adjust on it more, and that's why he got that 12th place finish, whereas you saw guys like Larson, Truex, Kyle, Chase all kind of be up there up front. Yeah, I think that's a good point, Connor. Um, Denny got better throughout the day, Brett. Yeah, I agree. Uh, but that's Denny Hamlin. Those are guys that finish races. Uh, let's see. Josh Berry. I mean, now we're getting into the kind of like, but a pretty good run by Josh Berry. I don't know. I sent him out there to beat one man, and that was the lucky dog. Okay. Brian, I hope you're still on here. I faded. Oh, this makes me so mad. I faded Daniel Suarez with Chase Briscoe. And listen, Chase wasn't good. Okay. I'm not saying that. Suarez was a dumpster fire, an absolute dumpster fire. And because of that, he can just stay out. He got two lucky dogs. Yeah, this is me not celebrating, by the way. He got two lucky dogs, and then he stays out and inherits track position. And no amigo. Oh, that pisses me off. I hate losing matchups like that. It's one thing to lose them and be wrong. What was he doing when he pitted up? I know. What I agree, Brian. Briscoe, okay, the caution comes out and Briscoe pits when the pits are closed. What? I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. The caution was already out. It wasn't like he was on pit road and then they threw the caution and he decided to pit when pit road was closed. Whatever. Sometimes those rules can be tough. Yeah, Suarez winning next week. I called it. Yeah, Cinco de Wormo. Gosh, if I wish I could bet someone to get the lucky dog, right? Because I mean, what are there's how many cautions today? 5, 6. I want to bet who gets a lucky dog. I would make money on that because when I fade someone across the board like I did today with Suarez, he gets 2 lucky dogs. Like, oh my gosh, I was so mad. I mean, I'm sure that Todd has some screenshots of me messaging him during the race of the chances of Suarez getting the lucky dog. And he's a bitch to pass. He can't pass anybody, but he's a bitch to pass. Cindric, I don't know, probably a good finish for Cindric. Logano, did anyone even see Joey Logano out there? Did Joey Logano race today? Oh yeah, he finished 16th. Gosh, these Fords. Who would have thunk that the best Ford was going to be Noah Gragson? That was a great bet. Great bet by whoever bet Gragson top Ford. I wish I had seen it or even thought about it. You love having Todd in the pre-race? Yeah, well, wait till football. Yeah, congrats to Cindric for finishing on the lead lap. Like, good job, Austin. Well done. I mean, he beat Joey. So, I mean, we're trashing him a little bit before the race, but he beat Logano. Yep. Chris Buescher. Ooh. Thought he was going to be better. Daniel Suarez. We've talked about him. He was probably a 28th place car. Can we all agree? 28th place? Maybe a little better. Maybe a little better, but not much better. John Emmer Nemechek, Corey LaJoy. I mean, boy, Corey LaJoy actually stayed out there, and I thought he was pretty good. Is Noah the 3rd to 5th best Ford this year? Well, let's look. We got, I think Blaney is a little better. I mean, you got to think Logano's better, right? And Buescher and Keselowski, but I think that there's maybe an argument. I mean, he's probably the 5th. Maybe 3rd. I think he has the most upside. I think for sure, if you were to look week in and week out, the Ford with the most upside from a betting perspective is absolutely Noah Gragson from a betting perspective. Carson Osivor, Zane Smith. Oof. Yeah. Someone mentioned that earlier. Not the season we expected out of him. Corey Heim. I mean, this is a tough track to just come run your first cup race. He looked good in practice, but you get out there with a bunch of other cars, it's way tougher. Harrison Burton, I mean, kind of a non-factor. Austin Dillon was a donkey all day. He did have the issue where he had to pit. That was our best bet. We faded him with that Gregson guy. Wish I had 10,000 on that. Stupid. I could have bet some more probably. I didn't. Stupid. Jimmy Johnson. Ugh. Yeah, man. Kaz Grala edges out of Brad Keselowski. I mean, Brad, 17 laps down. He finished like he was running the race still. Like how many times? It seemed like it was like Norm Benning out there. Every seventh lap is like the six is running low. The six is low. Yeah, 400 miles is a different monster. I see what you did there. Byron and Bubba. Gosh, I'll tell you what. Bubba, you can't say that you want to be mature about it and then have a normal conversation. Like you just to be mature means you don't say you have to be mature about it. That means you don't want to be mature about it, meaning it's like saying with all due respect, you know, you don't get points once you say I have to be mature about this. I don't know. He thinks the world's against him. I don't buy it. It's a tough track. I didn't expect him to run well. Did anyone really? I mean, he was fast. He was decent. It was the top 10 was probably live for a while. His attitude's tough. His attitude's tough with me. Byron, Bell. I mean, yeah, you get your nuts busted. Ricky Stenhouse, man, he was looking good. I live bet Ricky Stenhouse when that first run. You know, Ricky's good here. Okay, he's a good concrete driver. He's had a terrible year, and I thought he was going to be good. Like halfway, I'm like, oh, he's 100 to 1, and I could sell it. Yeah. I don't know. I thought Ricky was good. McDowell, obviously issues. Poor Ryan Preece. They can't catch a break. But Connor brought up a good point about just kind of like when there were a lot of people that wanted to fade Kyle Busch kind of across the board. And I know we did it in our best bet. But there's something about just if you qualify well, that's got to be the car. That's got to be that's the car. And he was able to have a decent run, just staying incident free. Look at what drivers had a good starting spot that weren't incident free and fell. Like let's look at let me pull this up. The starting lineup. Oh, it already switched to Kansas. How do I pull up the starting line? Yeah, but he had an issue, right? He had an issue. So if you look at the guy, you just don't want to have issues. If you just run a clean race. Reddick finished 11th, Jacob. Like, yeah, you could say that's probably a failure for him. Briscoe was the guy. Yep, Big Ross. Briscoe was the guy. But I mean, I didn't when I bet Briscoe over Suarez, I didn't think that he was gonna be a lead lap car. I didn't think he was gonna be a lead lap car. Does Denny win back-to-back next week? Man, he could. He could. I mean, him and Larson are going to be good. I mean, I think I can say that without ruining the odds. Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson are going to be good next week. But Reddick, is he going to be good? Okay, yeah, starting lineup. Kyle Busch started first, finished fourth. Ryan Blaney finished second, finished seventh. The only guys that struggled were Chase. Chase was the only one that fell. McDowell had an issue. Allmendinger finished 13th. You just basically you just can't make a mistake. It's becoming less about having fast race cars and just like not screwing up. Like that's the recipe. That's the recipe. Brad, are there more than 3 drivers you feel confident about being able to drive through the field on a week-to-week basis if required? This is a good question. I don't think there's more than 3. I think you have to put Larson and Hamlin in there, right? I think we'd all agree with that. That Larson and Hamlin are two guys that can drive through the field. Byron, he didn't today, and he drove to the lead today too, and he didn't. Truex, maybe Truex. I don't even know if Truex does though. Yeah, I mean maybe. Yeah, I don't think Byron can either. I always used to compare Bowman and Byron, and I would say that when they both have really fast cars, I think Byron gets better out of it. Like Byron will run better. But if they both have bad cars, I think Bowman's better at taking a bad car and making it good. Ross can drive to the lead. Yeah, I don't know. Ross would be he's a guy, he's kind of like he's a wheelman. I would agree with that. But I don't know if he can. Yeah, okay. Uh Cygnus, is that how you pronounce that? Bell. He could. Bell could. But I would say he's like a point 0.5. I think he's like a point 0.5. I think Bell is that guy that could do it. I would agree with that. Is it the car driver? Yeah, Ross is better defensively. I agree with that. Jacob asks, the car or the driver you think the reason why they can't pass? I think it's the car because these guys can pass. I mean, these guys are all really talented. I thought it was a good race. I thought the attendance was good. I think it's going to get a good score on. I think it's going to get a good score on the was it a good race? You think? I mean, it'll get over 65%, maybe 70%, or do people just hate Hamlin that much? I don't know. I think he could get a 70%. A 20 win at Kansas, cash that over 1.5 wins. Yeah. I thought it was a good race. What do you guys think? What were your thoughts on the race? I mean, if Suarez just stays 2 laps down, I have a great race. Couldn't do it. Expecting a little better. Yeah, maybe I was expecting better. I was hoping if you could get the side by side with Hamlin and Larson at the end. Larson, that was just tough. We'd see better racing if it was the Xfinity car. I mean, yeah, the top 15 didn't move much. Well, what you saw, Troy, in here, I want to comment on what Troy said. The top 15 didn't move much. I agree. But the guys that started deep, Truex started 15th. He drove up to 3rd. Larson started 21st, drove up to 2nd. The rest of those guys, who else was going to drive through the field? Like who else did you expect? I mean, maybe Chastain, but I'm okay. I didn't think Chastain was going to be good. I didn't fade him, but I didn't think Chastain was going to be good. You know, I thought I thought he was going to be better than he was. I didn't think he was going to be 15th. I thought he'd actually compete for stage points. I mean, did he even get a stage point? I mean, what was the line on that? Ross Chastain stage points? Yes, no. Elliott drove through the field. That's another good point. Elliott drove through the field as well. So, yeah, I get what you're saying that the top 15 didn't move much, but who did you want to go up there? I mean, the guys that fell out of the top 10 were Briscoe, McDowell, and Allmendinger, and William Byron, who had an issue, and it was replaced by Truex, Larson, and Chase Elliott. That's how it should be. Now, qualifying is so important, but yeah, those are the guys that should have been there. Like, what else do you want? I don't know, Troy. I don't know. Troy, I would say you want John Hunter Nemechek to run up through the field. I mean, I don't know what else you could say. It gets hard to pass, and you get into stage 3. You got the best cars in the top 5. You're only this much better than the car in front of you. So, did Bell drive through though? I don't know. I didn't really see Bell. See Bell. I didn't really see him, but I'm sure he was able to make his way through the field. You know who couldn't make his way through the field was Daniel Suarez. Bitter party of one. Well, any other questions? I don't know. It's the first app. What is like? What's Denny gonna say? Like my predictions on what Denny's gonna say. I mean, Denny's gonna be patting himself on the back, saying he called a shot. Um, yeah, Bell got stuck in the same area Byron did. You just can't make a mistake. You can't make a mistake. Just can't do it. There's been we talked about it with Larry Mack. I don't know if we actually talked. I think I talked about the spin and win. That used to be a thing. You used to be able to spin and win. You can't do that anymore. You can't. Um, I think the thing about this race is that it's tough to even describe. Yeah, just don't screw up. Like, gosh, it's so weird. And could you imagine if that's your game plan going into the week? Listen, I know you want to go out there and lead a lot of laps and run fast laps and pass cars, but just try to not screw up, and then we'll make adjustments late and get the car a little better. It just sounds boring. Been trying to parlay top manufacturers. I didn't want to choose Larson top Chevy, and I paid the price. Yeah, you got to take flyers on those. I would say the car stinks, man. We we all agree. I mean, you're gonna say Denny was like, I think Larson. I think Denny will say that Larson was better than him at points, including the end, but he was able to aero block. Yeah, Kyle Busch did win. Did he win speeding on pit road last year? Hmm. Well, so that was a great track, and they blew it up. You can spin and win in Xfinity, yeah, but in Xfinity, you also have like 8 cars that can win you know. How close was I to calling the top 10? Let's see. I had Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney. Um, I didn't have Gregson, Hemrick, or Ty Gibbs, so I went 7 out of 10. I had Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain, and William Byron in there. Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with removing that digital mirror either. I mean, Hamlin was just, if he wasn't in traffic, he was just trying to take Larson's air away. I agree. They're sharing too much. Like the fact that Larry Mack can come on and say, "Well, Kyle Larson's driving it a little bit further into the corner than Denny Hamlin, and that's where he's making up his time." That might, I don't even know that you can give that information away. It just turns everything into everyone driving the same. Everyone has the same, the same chassis. Way more parity in 22 and beginning of 23 when they knew less about the car. Well, yeah, what you're seeing now is you're seeing the cream rise to the top. I mean, the top teams, the Gibbs and Hendrick, are kind of running away with this thing. And, I think Penske's kind of right there. But yeah, what are my thoughts on Harvick jumping in the 5 for the All-Star practice? That's interesting. I think it's great for the sport. Anytime you see Kevin Harvick getting in a car, I think that's great. I think it will be interesting to hear the comments if okay, so I can tell you already what's going to happen. The 5 car is going to look terrible, so bad in practice. The opposite of what we're used to seeing. It's going to look so bad because Kevin Harvick never looked good in practice, ever, 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 especially not in this car. He never looked good. Kyle Larson looks the fastest in every single practice. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah. Could you imagine he goes out there and he's P1 in practice? That'd be incredible. I mean, Rodney Childers would have to hate that. If Harvick goes out there and puts it P1 on the board, holy cow. Yeah, it's the best equipment Harvick will. Yeah. Connor, I don't know how long you've been watching NASCAR, but that 4 car was really fast in like 2020, 2019. So, but in this Gen 7, yes, this will be the best car. Yeah, the fact that Gregson's getting that kind of information, that levels the playing field instantly. Levels the playing field. The track took rubber. Thought that was great. Widened out fast. I mean, it got a lot of rubber really fast. So that was good to see. Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions? Were there any like really terrible beats? What was anybody have a really bad beat? Um, I guess I'll pull up the screen here and be curious to kind of see. Uh, Larson beat Truex. So that, I mean, I don't know if that was a bad beat. Hamlin beat Larson. A little bit of a dog there. Larson beat Byron. I'm just going off of the screen here. Larson crushed Chastain. Hamlin beat Truex. That price, yeah, that was. I don't know that Hamlin was better than Truex though. Truex over Chastain, man, that was a pounder. Gosh, looking back, should have pounded that one. Any matchup against Chastain, really. I don't know. There's got to be someone that was is the worst beat the Briscoe Suarez one. Hamlin top Toyota. Oh yeah, Hamlin. You know what? Todd talked me off betting Hamlin top Toyota. Was there anything late in the race with? I don't think there really was. Any bad beats? Anyone have a? You had a nice chunk on Truex Chastain. Well, thanks for sharing that in that pre-race show. Denny over MTJ stage one impact. Yeah, that was a bad one. That was a bad one, Matty. 17 beating the okay. There's a couple. 17 beating the 22 all day until the last restart. Reddick top 10. Yeah, Reddick top 10. That'd be a bad one. But what was his price? I mean, did anybody play that? Wasn't it like minus 165 or something? It seems like a steep price. I mean, if you had it before the week started and you had like a plus 120 or plus 140 or something. Yeah, I mean, Bowman. See, Sammy, what I want to say is, I still think that Bowman was pretty good. I thought Bowman was pretty good at a certain point in the race. I mean, I bet him to win live. I thought Bowman was strong. Hemrick with a 9th place finish. Holy smokes! I just goes to show you, like, if you're not running in the top 15, you should just let the green flag cycle run out. And if there's a caution because maybe there's a bad tire or a loose wheel, you should just stay out. That's how Hemrick got his track position. That's how Suarez, mi amigo, stayed on the lead lap. Nice. 8-1 from Wednesday. Way to go. Yeah, why would you pit if you're not in the top 10? Now, if you're the leaders, you gotta make sure you cover your ass. Like we saw Larson do it to Truex. He pitted a lap earlier. You know, you have to do that. You have to try to get on pit road and make the pass. That's how Larson was able to pass Hamlin. So as a leader, you got to get on pit road, get the tires, because you're going to get back on the lead lap. So you'll inherit the track position anyway. Like, you're going to have to do that. But if you're not running 15th or even top 10, just stay out. There's going to be a caution. There's going to be a caution, especially when you have like such a big window. I mean, how long did LaJoy stay out? Like 30 laps longer? Yeah, the spin zone on Hemrick's finish. I mean, that just goes to show you. And the fact that Hemrick was able to hang on to that spot. I mean, Ty Gibbs, Tyler Reddick, and Ross Chastain couldn't pass him. So that's how even these cars are. And Hemrick was not good. Not good. Yep. All right. Well, thanks for the first ever Apres NASCAR. Yeah, LaJoy didn't even get punished. I agree, Brett. Wasn't that bad. Well, Apres NASCAR. Apres are drinks after skiing. So I figure this is drinks after NASCAR. Apres NASCAR. So cheers, everybody. Good race. On to Kansas. I mean, Larson and Hamlin are going to be the favorites. I mean, I think depending on what they open, you could just. Todd just sent me a text. That's my my initial text to Todd was, I think we just take the 5 and the 11 and then you're done for the week. Apres to naps. All right, everybody. Denny championship 10-1. Yeah, maybe. Larson 4-1 next week. Meh, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, every week it's Larson opens fives and then practice and qualifying. It doesn't even matter if he qualifies well, qualifies good or bad. He opens 4. Like I don't know. Like if you want Larson, you have to bet the opener because his price is going to drop from there. So, all right, I'm out of here.